this session, we will be reviewing Setup. Setup is on the left side of the screen. Clicking on the Setup icon, the first icon that we have is called Status Codes. Status Codes is a menu that you can create with different codes to place your member accounts on. As we will notice here, the codes begin with a 2-letter abbreviation, and then we have a detailed description as to the code meaning on the right side. When we are ready to input these codes, we would click on New Code. In the first field labeled Code, we would input that 2-letter abbreviation. And beneath the second field here, we have Code Description, where we would type out the code name in detail and hit Save. And we would continue doing that until all the codes we would like to use at this time are inputted. You can modify these codes down the line. You can also delete them out if there are codes that you're no longer wanting to use. This menu will be located on each member account, where you can go into that member account and change their code if it's applicable to that person. And this is a way to flag the member account. Upon their next visit, they will actually red screen, and your front desk personnel will be able to see what the code is saying or asking for. The next icon we have is called Member Types. Member Types is a menu you can create with all of the different membership types that you have. These membership types do begin with the abbreviation on the left side, and then off to the right we have a more detailed description as to what these membership types are. When you are ready to input your member types, click on New Type. In the top field label Type, you would input the abbreviation for the membership type name. Down below where it says Type Description, you would just type out the membership type name in detail. In the second section that's labeled Dues and Date Schedule, you would input the pricing as to how this particular membership type is charged. If it's a membership type that's charged on a monthly basis, you would only input pricing into the first field. If it is a membership type that's charged by a quarterly rate or semi-annual or annual rate, you would input pricing into the one field that it applies to. It does give you the option to lock in the amounts. If you do check this box, the amounts will be locked in, just meaning that when this membership type is selected for a particular member, you will not be able to change the pricing. If you would like to have the ability to change pricing on a case-by-case basis for each one of your members, then just leave that box unchecked. In the last section, the first field is called Set Fulfillment Date. Setting the fulfillment date is setting the term or length of the membership. So if this were, say, a 1-year contract, you would set your fulfillment date for 12 months out, as we see here. Setting the expiration date is actually setting the membership to expire. If the majority of your memberships roll over once that 1 year is met, or maybe continuously goes on until the member decides to come in and cancel it, you can just leave your expiration dates open-ended, as we see here, to December 31st, 2099. The only time that you'll have to set a true expiration date is, say, for example, it were some sort of a paid-in-full membership that you were inputting at this time, and you were needing the expiration to match the fulfillment date and have them be done at the end of the year. Once you've inputted all of the details for your first membership type, you would hit Save at the bottom, and then that one will become available to you on your membership type menu. This menu is going to be visible when you're inputting your new members into the system, as well as your current members if you're needing to go in and update what membership type it is that they have. You can modify these types by selecting the membership type name that you would like to modify and then clicking Modify Type. Once you've made your update in this section, make sure that you're clicking Save at the bottom. And then you also have the option of deleting a membership type out if it is something that you're no longer offering. The next icon we have is labeled Member Groups. Member Groups is another menu that you can create with special group names to categorize your members into. This is giving you another way of categorizing members other than what membership type they are. For example, if you have corporate accounts or business accounts and you would like to notate that certain members are part of this special grouping, this is where you could input those group names. And this menu will be available to you on each one of your member accounts. As we see here we have an abbreviation for the group name. And then on the right side, we have a more detailed description as to what that stands for. So when clicking on New Group, at the top where it says Group, you would input the abbreviation for the membership group name. And under Group Description, you would just go ahead and type out the name in detail and click Save. You also have the option to modify these group names as time goes along. If, for example, say a business changes its name, and then you also, of course, have the option of deleting the group name out if it's a group that you're no longer working with. Our next icon is labeled Additional Services. Additional Services is a menu that you can create for anything additional that you may charge your members for aside from their regular membership dues. For example, if you charge extra for child care or for renting a locker, etc., you can input those service names here to create your service menu. And in turn, this menu will be available to you on each one of your member accounts where you can add those additional items for them to bill on as well. So starting with inputting it as a new service, up at the top where it says Additional Service ID is where you would input the abbreviation for the service name. Under Additional Service Description is where you would type out the service name in detail, and then you would input the pricing that is to be billed for the service along with any tax if that is applicable, and then you would hit Save at the bottom. And you would continue doing so until all of the services you would like to use at this time are inputted. As time goes along, you are certainly able to modify a service if something needs to be updated. Just select the service name that you would like to modify and then click Modify Service on the right. You can update any of these fields, just make sure that we're always hitting Save at the bottom. And then of course you have the option of deleting out a service name if it's something that you're no longer offering and you would like to remove it from your menu of options. Our next icon is labeled Check-in Sounds. Check-in Sounds is an optional area where you can set up some sort of a sound to play when your members are checking into the facility. Our top section is a sound that would be playing for a good check-in, and the bottom section is a separate sound that you can set up if somebody's checking in under what's considered a bad check-in. For example, if they have a balance. Once you've made your sound selections, go ahead and click Save at the bottom. Our next icon is labeled Scheduling, and this is an area that we will come back to in a later training session that ties in with our main scheduling icon on our main club system screen. The next icon is labeled Advertising. Advertising is where you can input any new marketing or advertisements that you have in place. The purpose for inputting them into this section as a new advertisement is that on each new member screen and each current member screen, there is a drop-down menu that is called Hear About Us, where you can specify how your new clients are coming into the club, how they heard about you, who they were referred by, etc. So if you have something new that you're working with, you can come put it in as a new advertisement, and this will just simply be added into that Hear About Us menu. So once you've inputted the new advertisement name, go ahead and click Save, and that will automatically go into that Hear About Us menu. If you wish to delete out some of these advertisements that you possibly inputted in this section, just click on the advertisement name that you would like to delete and click Delete Advertisement on the bottom right side here. Our next section is labeled Payment Categories. Payment categories is where you can input all of the different methods of payment that you accept. This is a menu that you will see in two areas of the club system software. The first area would be under the check-in screen. If we were to do a receive payment for a customer through the check-in screen, we will see that payment category menu here. You, of course, can always specify if a member's paying via cash, check, or credit card, but this would just allow you to be a little bit more specific to notate not only is it a credit card payment, but it's a MasterCard credit card payment. So that's one area where you will see that menu. And then the second area where we will see the payment category menu is under the point of sale screen itself. Under point of sale, when we are taking in a payment from a customer and wanting to apply it directly to their account, we treat it as a receive payment. So once we have our customer up that we are applying the payment to, again, we will see that payment category menu down here at the bottom. So that menu is optional for you to set up. If just notating it as being a cash, check, or credit card payment is sufficient enough for you, then you would not have to create this payment category section. But if you do wish to be a little bit more specific with the types of payments that you're receiving in, feel free to input your payment categories into this section. If you would like to input your payment categories, you would start by clicking New Payment Category, input the name of the first one, click Save, and then continue to do so until all of your payment categories are inputted at this time. You do also have the option of deleting out a payment category if it's something that you're no longer accepting. Our next icon is labeled Required Fields. Required Fields is an area where you can specify certain information that you would like to make required when your employees are inputting new members into the system. Anything that you check off here as being required will absolutely be required to input when we are inputting a new member into the system. If one of these selections are skipped over or the information is not filled in, the employee will see a pop-up message asking for that information to be filled in that area. If you've made any selections here, you would go ahead and click Continue, and those would save your options. At any time, if you wish to make these unrequired, you can always come back into this area and uncheck the boxes and then just hit Continue again to save that. Our next icon is labeled Automated Emails. And automated emails is an area where you can set up certain email types to be automatically generated and emailed out to your particular members. These are automated in the sense that once you set up the different email types, they will consistently go out to members for different reasons. So this is a great built-in tool that we have within our software to use. The next icon that we have is called Automated Reports. Automated reports are different report types that you can set up to be automatically generated and emailed out to whichever employees need to receive this information. So it involves just a little bit of initial setup. But for example, the point of sale detail report, maybe this is a report that certain employees would like to see every day, whether it's management or owners. You can click on this report type and hit Go. Up at the top where it says Status, we would make sure that the status is set to Send. And then we would select under Report Date Range the data that we want to view, whether it was point of sale transactions from the previous day or from the last 7 days or from the beginning of the month until today's date. And then we would put in the email address as to which employees need to receive this information. And you can input multiple email addresses here as long as you're separating them with a semicolon. Once you click Save, that report will automatically start to generate and be emailed out to those employees that were specified under this section. Our next icon is labeled Referrals. Referrals is an area where you can set up certain compensations to be given to your existing members that are referring new clients and new business to your facility. And we have a few different options for doing that here. This area is optional. If you wish to use it, feel free to do so. Up at the top it says, upon sign up referring member gets, and then it gives us several different options as to how to reward these referring members. So the first option is amount off monthly dues. This is if we would like to give that referring member a reoccurring monthly discount off of their monthly dues. Whatever amount is specified here will be a reoccurring monthly discount that the member will receive, but their discount would only be as good or go as far as their friend or family member has signed up for. If their friend or family member joins the club and is only a member for 6 months and then decides to cancel their membership, well then that reoccurring discount would go away from the referring member's account. So it's only good for as long as the person they referred is a member of the club. If you'd rather give a one-time credit versus a reoccurring credit, then we have the second option of just setting a one-time credit that the referring member would get. Another option that you have is giving them freebies. Through Club Systems, you do have the option under Inventory to set up certain inventory items under the freebie program. And freebies are basically redeemable points that members can turn around and turn in and use those as payment towards, say, free retail items through point of sale. So this would just be giving them those redeemable points as a reward for referring a new member to the facility. And then our final option is giving them a guest pass that they can use to bring in another friend or family member, and then just specifying here when that will expire. If you do choose to set up any of these compensations, make sure that you're clicking Save at the bottom. Our next icon is labeled XCapture. Along with PT XCapture, these will be reviewed in a later training session called XCapture. Our next icon that we have is called Workouts. Workouts is where you can go in and create different workouts, and this particular area is going to be viewable on each one of your member accounts. On each member account, they have a tab on their screen that's called Workouts, where you are able to go in and record different results for your members if they're on some special program, or maybe working with a trainer where their workout results are needing to be recorded on a regular basis. So you can come in here under Setup in the Workout section and create the different workouts that would need to be recorded for your members. And we just start by clicking on New Workout. Up at the top, we go ahead and name the workout, and then we put it in a specific category, or we can create a new category if the category is not available in the existing list. And then here under New Category, just go ahead and type in the name of the category that this would fall under. Under the description box, you would just type in a short description pertaining to the workout and its details, and then specifying how to measure it, whether it's in reps, percentages, etc. And then you would go ahead and save that as being your first workout on your menu, and then just continue to do that until you've created all the workouts that you would like to use at this time. As time goes along, you can go and modify certain workouts if the details need to be changed, and then you of course can delete the workout types if it's something that you would like to remove from your menu of options. Our next icon is labeled Automated SMS. Through Club Systems, you do have capability of sending out text messages and even automated voice broadcast calls to your members for different reasons. There is a little bit of setup that's involved with that, so if you are interested in signing up for the text messaging and broadcast calling to your members for different reasons, please feel free to contact Club Systems at 1-800-227-6194 for more information on how to get set up for those specific features. Our next icon is labeled Lockers. Lockers is where you can input daily lockers that possibly you allow members to use on a first-come, first-serve basis. If you input your different locker numbers here and what kind of a locker they are, this will in turn show up on the check-in screen. So as your members are checking in and maybe would like to use a locker, let me just pull up a member here. And if this member is checking in and wanted to see if we had any lockers available, you would be able to go down to the bottom of your check-in screen and click on Lockers to see which ones you have available at this time for use, and just check the box that that particular locker number is going to be in use at this time. And finally, the last icon that we will discuss in this section is called Check-in Colors. Through our check-in screen, you have four primary colors that you will see on a regular basis, those being red, green, yellow, and blue. Red screening is normally indicating some sort of an issue with the member account. Green screen means there's no issue with the account. Yellow screen would indicate that the card being swiped or the account number being typed in is not being recognized by the system. And blue would indicate that the member that you're checking in has currently a credit card on file that has expired and needs to be updated. So aside from those four primary colors that you'll see on a day-to-day basis, we do give you the option of setting up different colored screens aside from those four colors. So these are the options that we have: brown, gray, orange, pink, and purple. So maybe for a specific membership type, you want those members who check in to check in as an orange screen. You can set it up as such, or a gray screen in this case. Maybe for a specific member group, those members that are part of a specific corporate account or business account, you want them to check in, say, under the pink screen. We can do that. And then again, maybe for members that are under a specific account status code, maybe we've changed their code because they need to update their billing information, or they're currently on a freeze. We want them to check in under the brown check-in screen. So this is just giving you further ability to specify for certain either member types or member groups or members that are set up on a specific status code that they're checking in under one of these colors that we have available. So if you had made any settings here, any selections, just make sure to hit save, and then you will see that as these members check in, they will be checking in under the specific color screens that you've specified here in this section. That concludes this session reviewing the setup. Thank you so much.